Bocca.
Chats with
Jeremy Spector.
I met Jeremy Spector through his burger that literally changed my life. He's an amazing chef behind the Brindle Room and Mr. Paradise, classically trained but with full street cred, and one of the most talented guys on the scene, so let's get into it.
Getting me like connected on this is like getting like a 90-year-old person connected to this.
It's like landing on the moon.
Yeah, it's really, wow, something else.
Well, I'm glad you took the time to do this, man. I really appreciate it.
Of course, man.
It's great seeing you, bro. It's been a second.
Yeah, it has been. I haven't seen anybody in a second.
I know. I don't think anyone has seen anyone in a second. Tell me how you doing? What's going on?
Well, let's see. There's a couple of things. I've been, going into one of the different restaurants every day and like trying to keep busy, turning on the stoves, cooking something, throwing stuff away, cleaning, just sort of like turning on the dishwasher just to kind of like be busy.
You sound like my mother.
Yeah.
Her normal daily retired routine.
Yeah. And then we started now we're doing like catering, like for relief workers, which is good.
That's great.
So I can like place orders, go in, prep. Like the last 2 days, we've done like 600 people.
That's fantastic.
We've been doing that out of the kitchen at Mr. Paradise, obviously, because that's the kitchen to do it.
Right. Well, you got the space. The place is beautiful.
Yeah. So yeah, man, it's weird times though, for sure. I have a new chick that I'm dating, which is great.
That's good.
Yeah. And that started just like right at the beginning of March, man, because it would have really been tough dating in this environment.
Yeah, man. That's one thing you don't want to do. So that's good. I mean, I know a lot of people are having quarantine relationships, which is kind of a new phenomena.
Yeah.
That's nice. Where'd you guys meet?
On Tinder.
God bless the internet.
Yeah. Where else? Where
else do you meet these days? Yeah, that's true. That's funny. That's great. Well, what are you making for the relief workers? What are you cooking these days?
Simple things. Like today we did like sliced chicken thighs over salad with tomatoes and, a little bit of cheese and cucumbers and just like fresh plus chicken.
Right.
Something that we can really streamline and do 300 portions of. Sure. Yesterday we did chicken breasts, and those were sliced over what we did. We did black rice, wild rice, and then had some diced vegetables in there, so it looked nice.
Right.
But yeah, like simple stuff.
That's good. I mean, have you? Has your relationship with food changed because of the pandemic, because of the quarantine?
Well, I've been eating more of it. Just in my eating habits. Like typically when I'm working, I eat I can't even eat a meal at the end of the day, like when I go out to dinner, because I've been picking all day.
Right.
And now I eat way more meals.
You're purposefully cooking and eating because that's filling the time. It's something to do, something to put your mind towards. Yeah. I think everyone has discovered food like all over again, because what do you do at home? I mean, everyone is baking. It's crazy. People are making their own yeast, their own starter. It's like the 1200s again. It's amazing.
Yeah. And people are, people are getting into it. And I feel that, like for me, it's not like if I spend my, all my free time cooking, but for a lot of people, they love it.
Yeah.
They're spending their days in their apartments and they're like taking on like these, like big day-long recipes. And I think that's cool, man.
Have you started any projects during this quarantine?
Nothing major, honestly. I was pretty burnt out before this quarantine.
So vacation.
So yeah, it's sort of like sort of a vacation, and I started getting, and I was really like looking for something, some major inspiration. I was like, okay, I'm going to take this time and like really think about my future, blah, blah, blah. And it's just, it's sort of, I'm still waiting for something great to pop into my head.
You're waiting for the great lightning bolt. Great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I totally feel you, man. It was weird. I don't know why we decided to make this little project in Boca, but I'm so glad that we did, because it's gotten us connected with like a lot of really cool people, cool chefs, and just hearing their stories has been like super inspirational, and people have been like very, very cool about it. So I appreciate you taking the time to do this. Have you watched the little doc I sent you?
I did. I loved it.
Tell me what your thoughts are as a chef. What did you think?
Well, first of all, like the vitella tonnato.
Yeah.
I love that dish.
Isn't it the fucking best? And I never see it on a menu.
No, it's so rare.
Yeah.
The spotted pig had it on I remember for a while. And this is going back maybe 12, 13 years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't see it a whole lot.
It's a tough one to find. Even in Italy, I don't see it on menus. I think it's like an old school dish that everyone's forgotten. But tuna fish on veal, you can't beat it. It's so good.
Yeah, it was. It looked great. You guys looked like you did a really good job.
Thanks. Whatever you did, I think you covered your microphone.
Oh,
there.
You guys did great. You did that. Yeah, I think you did. Sorry.
Take it out of your ass.
Is anybody there? You're inside my phone.
That's funny. So, what do you think of our technique? I mean, as a chef, did we do you proud?
Yeah, and I liked the video as a chef because you didn't go like you sort of like went through the cooking parts pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And so I can fill in those gaps.
Yeah.
Because I'm a chef. And I also I was just really for me, I was fascinated by this sort of like anthropological kind of like importance of those books.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that story is so weird how Peter was driven to go to Italy by the books. And then that whole, I can't even explain that trip to you over the phone. Like the mayor of the town took us in his car to people he didn't even know, knocked on their door and was like, okay, you are Gisella Boggia. This is Peter Boggia from Brooklyn. You are the nephew of the uncle of Dimitri Boggia. And he would explain the connection. And then they would go, oh, come on in. Like they didn't know who we were. It was mind-blowing. And they bring out the photo books and the cake and the brandy and everyone was crying and laughing. It was beautiful. And it was really because these books sparked an imagination inside of him and me. And I don't know, the power of the books is so cool to us. And the way the recipes are written are exactly how we covered them in the video. They're like, grab a bit of this, throw in a handful of that. It's like when your mother tells you to make something. You get the can of that and you're going to cook it for a bit. It's totally just on the wing. So I'm glad you dug that part because I was worried people were like, well, what's the recipe? That's the recipe. That's how they sound. It's crazy.
And I like recipes like that because that's how me and my chef friends would talk about how to cook something.
Yeah. And it's personal. And I think everyone does it a little differently, which is why they do it that way. Your sauce is different from someone else's sauce. So when they say make a simple tomato sauce, you make yours, So it's cool. It's the language of food that I think got sterilized a lot with cooking shows and recipe books. It's too scientific, almost too clinical. I like the human aspect of it. Yeah.
Right. And a lot of these recipes are excuse me. A lot of these recipes are written for, they're written for homemakers or housewives.
Yeah.
And we don't necessarily relate to food that way.
Right. Totally.
for sure.
It's a different type of connection that they have, for sure.
Right.
Well, that's interesting, man. I mean, why don't you tell me, as Italy as a country, like, do you love Italy? Like, is it a place that you admire?
Yeah, I had a great time in Italy when I was there, and I was really young when I went.
Yeah.
And I was so young that I went that I had been to culinary school.
Yeah.
But I was just like so young that I really didn't take advantage of it the way that I would now, for sure.
Well, you got to go back. It wants you to go back.
Yeah, I want to go back. I remember he told me something about buying castles there for very, very inexpensive.
There's these towns that have just been lost to time and the inhabitants have left, and you can literally buy houses for €1 if you promise to put a certain amount of money into the structure, like €10,000. And they're tiny towns. They're usually in the middle of nowhere, but it's a great way to get these towns back to life and get people back in there, and they're beautiful places. So I love countries like this that open up their borders and their doors to people that want to invest in it. It's cool.
Yeah, there was I saw a 60 Minutes episode on it, or like on Sunday morning.
You are my mother. You're literally my mother. You're watching 60 Minutes on Sunday morning. I'm looking into the future.
Yeah. But I was like, oh man, that sounds great. What you could go.
What's the catch?
Disappear. You just disappear there.
That's funny. Well, my plan is to buy one of those and fix it up and make it a little place that people can come, experience a bit of culture, maybe learn about film a little bit, maybe ride a Vespa around and eat a bunch of carbonara. Yeah, that's the goal.
That's a pretty damn good goal, man.
Well, you'll be there, so I hope you like it too. Yeah.
I've definitely realized that whatever I'm doing, if I'm doing it in New York or wherever, I definitely need to be working less when I come back.
Yeah, I hear that, man. I definitely hear that. Well, it's good. This is focused all of us a little bit on what's important and what we want to dedicate our lives to.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, this is beautiful. I want to, how do you get your hands on those books? Are they online or?
Well, I got a set here if you want, and we'll talk about the price. No, I mean, they're hard to find, man. They're made out of cardboard. So a cardboard cookbook is a horrible idea. It's around liquids and fats and all kinds of shit.
Right.
So I'm sure they get destroyed if you actually use them. But if you can find them online, certain people have them and they really cherish them because each one is a different author. They all have like regional recipes. They're written in dialect, and I don't know. They're super rare. Look, I got one right here, and I love them. I love how they smell. I mean, it's wild. They're so cool.
They almost
republish them.
Yeah, they look like they're hand painted. From when you hold them up.
They are, and what's really cool is that when I released the video, the daughter of the man that originally published it told me on the phone because she saw the video. And she's like, I haven't remembered these in 30 years. No one's talked about them. And I remember my father was so proud of them. And it was like his biggest passion project he ever had with his company. And, they've just been forgotten by everyone. And you made this video and we're so surprised by it. And she told me that the handwriting in the books is actually her aunt's. She wrote everything by hand. So it's like stories like that blow my mind that I've looked at this book so many times and I've seen this handwriting and thinking, who made this? And this woman calls me and says, oh yeah, that was my aunt. It's so cool to me, the connection that this book has to everyone. So if I find a copy, I'm going to send it to you.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I'll send you the Rome one because that's where I'm from. So you'll have good food.
Yeah, the good. I'm sure it's the best.
They're all good. I mean, who's going to argue?
Wait, and that was another thing I learned. You're Italian. I had no idea.
What are you talking about? You never seen my chest hair?
I was like, oh, Roberto's Italian.
Roberto Sereni's Italian?
Yeah.
I thought he was Canadian. Yeah. Funny fact about me. Yeah. Well, bro, I miss you so much, and I miss your food so much. It's such a part of me. I feel like everything we do is a part of each other.
Yeah, I miss it too, man. I miss it, but I sort of like some things I'll be okay with putting to bed and like doing something new and and challenging.
Good. I'm glad you had the time to figure out what things are good and what things are not good.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Look forward to Jeremy 2.0.
And maybe 3.0 by this point.
At this point, yeah, who knows? 8.0. High Sierra. What are you calling yourself? I don't know. Well, stay good, man. Good luck with everything. Thanks for making the food for the people that need it. And stay in touch. I miss you.
All right. Sounds good, man. Good talk.
You too, man. Ciao.
Take care, brother.
Bye.
20 rare cookbooks, 4 tasty dishes, 2 best friends. Watch the film, see the books, help Italy recover. Get hungry at ItalyInBocca.com.